Hello FIGGIE fiends and collectors, this is me, Daniel East 1000, back again with another Star Wars The Black Series figure review. Today we're going to be rounding off the last of the Clone Wars figures that I've needed to take a look at. And so in this video we're going to be having a look at ARC Trooper Echo and Clone Pilot Hawk. These are two figures that I've been really excited to review, so I'm sorry it's taken me this long to get them done. But as I've shown in my last video, crazy things have been happening, so yeah. Finally here to sit down and talk about some figures to you, so here they are. First, as per usual, we'll have a look at the box art, and then we'll have a look at the figures themselves, which is what we're really here for. Like I said with the Anakin and Obi-Wan, this style of packaging was actually featured in the first wave of Clone Wars figures, sort of coincide with the Clone Wars movie being released and first season of Clone Wars being aired. This style of card back really harks back a lot of memories for me, because I remember when these sort of cards were sat on toy shelves and pegs way back when. So the kind of difference with these two is the fact that Anakin and Obi-Wan we kind of saw in this style of card back. With these two characters, we didn't really see them in them. So it's kind of interesting why Hasbro decided to put these two on this style of card. They could have really cheaped out and just repacked an Ahsoka onto this, or an Asajj Ventress, but no, instead they decided to give us some somewhat new figures on this style of card, which I'm really all for. So I'm pleased that Hasbro didn't cheap out here. If we have a look at the packaging style, it's in that Clone Wars look. You've got pictures of the characters on there from the animated series. You've got the name tab, 50th anniversary of Lucasfilm, because that's what the line of figures is celebrating. Star Wars The Clone Wars. Figures I do have inside the packaging, I've opened them up, and I will be opening them up in this review. Although when I did initially get these, it's so tempting just to keep them carded. Particularly with Echo, something about that just really hit differently, and if I can ever find another Echo to keep carded, I'd be somewhat tempted to. But nonetheless, looking on the backs of these before I gush any more, you've got the 50th anniversary of Lucasfilm timeline, Star Wars The Clone Wars at the top. Clone Wars is highlighted because that's what these figures are featured from. Bit of a bio on the line and a ton of legal garb at the bottom, which we've all come to know and love. So that's the packaging really out the way. Let's get them unboxed and take a look at them, shall we? And here we have them out of the box. Here, in this hand, we have Clone Trooper Hawk, using that old style of Clone Trooper body. Kind of interesting why they did that. Sort of drawing a blank as to why, but if it reuses a sculpt, it reuses a sculpt. They've just added the new helmet. Echo in this hand, of which utilises the new clone body, although some of it also does utilise some new parts. We'll get into more of the features with this one. So first and foremost, we'll have a look at the easiest one to look at, which is Hawk. I really wasn't too fussed about this figure when it was first announced. To be honest, I was sort of like, am I going to bother pre-ordering it? This was the one that I just kind of threw in with the order. But having Hawk in hand, I have to say I'm really pleased I've got him. There's something a little bit different about him. I love the decals that he's got in his helmet there. The helmet is completely new. It's got a chest box which is glued onto the body of the clone. From the neck down, it's complete reuse. I can't really give you a reason as to why Hasbro's done that, but they've done it. And it works fine. It matches up with all your other clones, so no complaints here. It just utilises some slightly different articulation, which we'll look at in a moment. But you've got that blue armour panelling there, much chunkier shoulder pads, nothing really too much going on at the back. On the front you've got that blue 501st markings. Love that helmet. It's not removable, there's no head underneath there, it is what it is. It comes with just one accessory, which is his blaster rifle, which I've got him holding like so. He holds that nicely, you can get him quite well posed up with that. The interesting thing about Hawk to me is, this was mainly because I sort of researched into the character, because I don't really remember him that much. I do know that in the Clone Wars movie he was mentioned, and I think he had a scene cut where he died, and then in subsequent later episodes of the Clone Wars you actually do see him. I didn't quite realise how often you do see him. So to me, he feels a bit like an unsung hero, because he does take the characters to quite a few places and does feature in some pretty big arcs. Now, while he doesn't feature in a big way, because you know, you could say he's the 501st go-to Uber driver, he gets you where you need to be, basically. And he's good at doing that, and he's just a good boy, and it's nice that Hasbro have remembered him for the 50th anniversary of Lucasfilm. I could have thought of some other Clone Wars characters they could have done, but if this was an easy one for them to do, that's fair enough. In terms of his articulation, he has a ball jointed head, ball jointed shoulders, double hinged elbows. Also has that bicep swivel, ball jointed wrists, ball jointed torso, ball jointed hips, swivels at the tops of the thighs, double hinged knees, and ball jointed ankles. So that's all the articulation you could really want from him. As a clone pilot, you know, you can get him sat down and doing all the clone pilot-y things. I don't have a massive affinity to this guy, but it was cool to research into him a little bit. If you're a big clone nut, you're obviously going to be all over this. That's all I have to really say in terms of Hawk. I think he's just a good boy. He's a nice addition. That's Hawk Fear. Clone Trooper Echo. Oh, Echo is me boy. I love Echo. Who doesn't love Echo? It's just really weird that we've got Echo in his ARC Trooper gear before we've got a Bad Batch Echo, of which I'd like to have now, please, Hasbro. Not to be ungrateful. Honestly, though, this pacifies me just enough. I really, really love this figgy. I think he's absolutely stunning. So the mystery behind the old Clone Trooper head sculpts glued under the helmet is revealed now. So we've got a Clone Trooper head sculpt hidden under there, and it's in that very realistic Timora Morrison styling. Very, very generic looking clone, but that's sort of Echo really. He's the model soldier, could say. Of course, if we have a look at his armour, you've got this shoulder pauldron piece, of which is a solid, fairly solid piece. It's a little bit rubbery, which has this front armour piece here with the handprint, the pouch as well, and then on the back you've got the backpack. All this is one piece, of which is just glued onto the figure, which is fine. It's quite solid and stiff on there, and it doesn't really hinder articulation, of which is surprising. Of course, if you look down, you've got the Karma there, of which houses his two little blaster pistols, which you can have him dual wield if you so wish. This guy comes with a lot of accessories. He's really kitted out like an ARC Trooper should be. You've got his gauntlets there, you know, the specialised one on this side, which is different from the other Clone Trooper sculpts. Naturally, just lots of new parts that are integrated, which is prominent on these shin guards here. Then you've got these Clone Trooper shoes, of which I like any other Clone Trooper shoe, but they've got the grey painted on the sort of front pieces here. Honestly, I'm gushing over this guy. An ARC Trooper Echo is a figure that I've really wanted for some time, and to have it in hand is great. I'm not the biggest clone nut, admittedly, but Echo is one of my faves. So if we have a look at that backpack again, just around the figure. In terms of his accessories, like I said, or showed, he does have his helmet, of which is removable. The visor actually does move down. You've got that lovely, lovely blue on there as well. Looks really fantastic. Comes with this long blaster rifle. You've got this other smaller blaster rifle as well. You also have these two dual wielding pistols which are in his holster there, which we have seen come with Captain Rex and Hunter, of whom I have reviewed, and you can check that out if you so wish. But if I just take them out of his, or at least one of them out of his holster, because you don't need to see both of them because they're effectively the same thing. There we go, that's what they look like. Nothing too different really, and you know, you can get him in some really decent poses with them. There's a lot of display options. It's just great. It's Echo, it's just great. In terms of his articulation though, he has a ball jointed head on a ball hinge. You've got a neck joint in there as well, so he can look even further down. Ball jointed shoulders. There's also, oh, forgot to mention that, butterfly joints, although they are quite tight on mine. Ball jointed elbows. Now they do feature the, like I mentioned in my Obi-Wan review and my Clone Trooper review as well, the new armour plating pieces, of which have these plastic straps that when you bend the arm in, you can really get the joint to cut into that, and it does mess them up. So what I tend to do is I do itch them up a little bit when I am doing over accentuated bends such as that, just so they don't cut and they don't break into those, because that can happen, and why I sort of prefer the double jointed elbows that this old boy has, and the double hinged knees as well actually. But nonetheless, it's a thing that Hasbro's implemented, just be wary of it. So yeah, ball jointed elbows, ball jointed wrists, ball jointed torso, ball jointed hips, swivels at the tops of the thigh, ball jointed knees, again, watching for those straps, because that can eat into those as well if you're not careful, and ball jointed ankles with rocker joints. So like I said, you can get this guy in some really, really dynamic action-packed poses, like with this guy as well. For me, I think Echo is absolutely the pick of the bunch from this assortment. This is the rare instance where I can't disregard any of them. All these figures are absolutely fantastic, and I wouldn't even write Hawk off. I think he's a great little figure as well. Overall, that's what I really want as a collector, and this wave's checked that completely. So let me know what you guys think of this entire wave, and in particular these two figures, in the comments down below. And well, this is me, Daniel East 1000, signing out, and thank you very much for watching.